Hey guys, welcome to Jack and Cam filming in advance yet again.
Yeah.
So we came up with a little game we could play this time. Well, we didn't. No, that's a lie. We did not come up to it. I've heard of this game everywhere. Basically, the idea is we've got a list of 10 things that we think, or in some cases, know the other person doesn't know anything about, and we're gonna try and. Basically, the idea is with no prior knowledge, without knowing anything about the series,
The internet is off limit.
the internet is off limits. We're gonna say what this series is about. And it should be kind of funny because obviously the other person has no idea, and it'll just be like we get to make fun of stupid people, which will end up being me and Cameron. But you know, so Cam, what is the first thing on your list that you think I know nothing about, and I'll tell you what I think it's about.
Okay, Jack, explain to me what Mad Men is.
Mad Men.
Yes.
Right.
Mad Men.
Okay.
The TV show. The
TV show. Yes. I sort of know. Hang on. Right. It's about men.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're a little bit mad.
They are a bit mad.
Yes. Okay. I'm off to a good start. And they do stuff.
What stuff?
I don't know. I know stuff about Mad Men. I've seen the advert.
What's the background of it? Where's
The
it
cops.
based? No.
The criminals.
No. Kind of. You could say that.
They're prostitutes.
No. All right. What's the setting of the? Where is it set?
It's 1970s.
No.
1960s.
Kind of.
50s.
50s to 60s.
50s to 60s. Oh, man. Wouldn't it have been great if I'd guessed that straight away? Right, okay.
You didn't.
I know nothing.
Sorry. Am I gonna eventually end up telling you what it's about? Or I'm gonna leave you hanging?
I don't know. I think that would just use up too much time. If people don't know what Mad Men is either, then they can Google it, whereas I can't. So, you know, it would just waste a lot of time. Plus, I don't really care. Right, okay, this one should be fun. Because I know
So you don't know, that's your explanation of Mad Men. It's men who are a bit mad, who are kind of criminals, probably prostitutes.
Yes,
and they're all
that's
cops.
Exactly what I think I know about Mad Men. But I know next to nothing about it, so, you know. Okay, right. Most of mine are video games because I know nothing about movies and Cam knows nothing about video games, so it seemed fair. I want you, from an outside perspective, to tell me everything you know about WoW, World of Warcraft.
Okay, so I know it's an MMORPG. It's the biggest in the world.
No, it's not.
Isn't it? Okay.
Not anymore. It used to be, but now League of Legends is. If you consider MMORPG, yes. MMO generally, no. Not anymore. If you count League of Legends.
And I know that you choose from these two type of people.
Right, okay, you choose from the two factions. What are the two factions called?
The Horde and the Alliance.
Hey, okay, good.
Okay,
good.
But I've recently learned that the Horde aren't all bad and the Alliance aren't all good.
No, they're not good and bad. There's not
shades of grey.
Yeah, the different shades of grey.
Okay. I know that the Horde look evil though.
That is true. All right, actually, that's a good one. Tell me about all the races in WoW, Cam.
Okay, so there's a human, and they're basically humans.
Yes.
Right. There are elves. And
yes. Hang on, there's two types. Do you know the difference?
Yeah, there's a normal elf who have pointy ears and they're skin coloured, and then there's dark elves who have pointy ears and they're evil.
No, you're just making stuff up. No, right, okay. There's night elves. Who are kind of like dark. I guess kind of like the normal description of dark elves, but they're purple. But they're also awesome. They do front flips when they jump. And then there's blood elves who are gay.
Okay.
That's the characteristic. They're camp as hell.
Okay.
Right? What other races are there?
There's also skeletons.
Yes, undead.
And they are zombies, kind of, but they're intelligent.
Yes. I have told you some stuff about WoW over the years, so...
Okay. Basically, you choose from one of these races, such as Gnome.
Hey!
Right?
You want to know that's a John?
Yeah. And then you spawn in, and then you live in this world where it's all like, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, it's crossed with Steam Boy, crossed with lots of other things.
Wow. All right. What is your outside impression of the community in WoW?
Apparently, they're all very selfish, and they all. It's really, unless you're playing with friends. It's
very
really,
doggy. Yeah. You got that right. All right, let's move on. What's next?
Okay.
Hopefully, it'll be something that I know a little bit about, so I can at least attempt to say.
That's bad. Okay, please, can you explain to me what the Rocky Horror Show is?
The Rocky Horror Show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I'd imagine, having never heard of it before in my life, that you have Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
with a knife, attacking people.
Yeah.
And you can't understand a word he says while doing it.
And it's why is it called show then?
Oh, because it's he presents it.
So he's like, and then he just starts stabbing people in the audience.
Yeah. And he's wearing a mask. He's wearing a scream mask because it's horror.
Yeah. Okay. But you can still tell Stallone because he's massive and he can't talk.
Yeah. I'm really happy I got Stallone right there because I wasn't actually sure who played Rocky.
Yeah, that's Stallone.
Thank God. Well, that's my impression. But I'm curious, what is it about? Is it about Rocky?
No, it is about a very camp scientist who creates the perfect human and calls him Rocky Horror. And
wow, that's forward thinking right there. I'm going to call my creation Rocky Horror.
But this specimen is kind of dumb as hell, and also there's this couple that get trapped in this scientist mansion, and he's like a transvestite.
Okay, we're going to move on.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like the horrible...
It is one of the funniest musicals ever. It's a musical.
Musical? What's going on with the world? See if you get your shit together.
It's Tim something, but yeah.
All right. Okay, mine's another video game. Cam, having never played any game in the series, I want you to tell me what you think the storyline is from start to finish of Mass Effect.
Okay, so this guy called Shepard.
Yes.
And he's like, bitches, I'm part of the military.
Almost correct.
Okay, so then he goes out and he does military missions.
Not
and then
even close to
there's
correct.
these things called Reapers, and they're really evil. And
Yes.
and then
Well,
he kills
no,
them all.
Not really.
Or he doesn't, it depends on what you want. And then if he doesn't, you buy the next two games and it doesn't let you play because you finished the story. But
Actually,
he dies in the first game, and then they resurrect him in the second game.
Actually, he dies at the start of the second.
Okay.
Game.
And then they resurrect him.
Right, yeah. How do they resurrect him?
They use the Philosopher's Stone.
No.
No, they use the Resurrection Stone.
No, right? I think you can get this because they totally stole it from Batman.
Really?
Yeah. What? Saying that, how do you think they resurrect him?
They use the Lazarus Pit.
Yes, they do.
Oh.
No, they don't. The project is called Project Lazarus.
Oh, okay.
And that's who gets resurrected. Okay, but you're kind of right, because if you die at the end of Mass Effect 2, you can't import your character into Mass Effect 3. so you're pretty right. Okay. All right, what do you... Who were the people in your squad in Mass Effect?
There was a guy called Joker.
Correct.
Seth MacFarlane voiced him, and I love Seth MacFarlane.
Seth Green. I need to say
Seth Green. Seth Green, sorry.
Seth McGreen.
So Seth McGreen voiced Joker. There was also Garrus, who's supposed to be the ultimate badass.
He is. I die for Garrus.
Then there is who's the...
Just describe him. You don't have to give him names.
Okay, then there's that big guy who looks like Rhino from Spider-Man. And you do...
Are you talking about Rex?
Yeah, that's it. Shepard.
Rhino from Rex. Rhino from fucking hell.
Spider-Man. Then there's that one bitch that you sleep with who's Alan Chuck.
Oh, Miranda, yeah.
And then there's...
the most weirdly proportioned woman in the world.
And then there's another bitch who you can sleep with if you don't sleep with the woman from Chuck.
There's a lot of bitches you can sleep with, John. John? Wow. Wow, I'm so used to telling John stuff. Holy crap.
So yeah, that's... and then in the end, it was all a dream and Shepard was on the island from Lost. That's what happens in Mass Effect. Yes,
that's pretty much the end. It was all a dream and none of it really happened. Yeah, that's exactly how Mass Effect ends. You're right. Okay, what's next on your list?
Okay, it's a book called 11.
All right, you haven't really given me much.
No.
Okay, well, I imagine there's 11 something. Am I right?
Kind of.
Okay, so there's 11 people?
No.
There's 11 stuffed animals and they have to fight the evil robots.
No.
There's 9 stuffed animals and they have to fight evil robots.
No.
Sackboy's origin story.
No.
Do
you want me to tell you something about 11?
It's Harry Potter's birthday.
Do you want me to tell you something pretty bad about 11?
Yeah.
I wanted to put it in because I wanted to see all the ad-libs you can come up with, but it's on my bookshelf, but I've never read it. All I know is that it's a book written by the Welsh comedian.
Right, well, hold on. Go get that book and we'll read the blurb and try to work out what it's about, because neither one of us know what it's about.
Okay, I'll be back now.
All right. Jesus Christ, what is he doing with his life? Hopefully he won't be too long, because it's hard to vamp when I don't really have anything to talk about.
Okay.
So 11.
So yes, the only reason I bought it is because it was written by Mark Watson, who's one of my favourite comedians. He's a Welsh comedian. Yeah. And I'm going to read the front first. And then, okay, so the front says Mark Watson, 11, okay? And then the blurb says, 1 moment, 11 lives, endless consequences. This is the story of a radio DJ, Zyver.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
Island, who by night offers words of wisdom to his sleepless listeners, and by day struggles to follow his own advice. But no matter how hard he tries to keep himself, Zyver is, I think it's Zyver,
This sounds like the weirdest book ever.
Has no control over the way a single moment in his life will affect 11 people across the city in chain events. So it's Valentine's Day, the movie.
Right. Cam, this is what you need to do, right? You go into Canada in a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
I want you to take that book and read it over your holidays, while you're at night and stuff, and then come back and tell us what it's about.
Okay.
Right. Also, this has taken a lot longer than I thought it would, so we have a list of 10. Let's prune it down to the best 5. So I've asked you 2, you've asked me 2. No, that was your third, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you've never seen it. This is one of the ones you watched. I want you to tell me what you think the TV show Wilfred is about.
Okay, I know there's a guy in a dog suit.
Right,
so,
that's almost correct.
Okay, so I'm assuming that Elijah Wood, who is the star of it, went to a fancy dress party.
Okay.
And he met a dude called Wilfred who came as a dog. And they hit it off. They were really nice friends. They were having drinks together. Wilfred bought him some drinks. And then when Elijah Wood went home, he's like, I'm going to hang out with my new friend Wilfred, because Elijah Wood's kind of down on his luck. He hasn't got much friends. So he calls Wilfred. Wilfred comes around his house, but he's still in costume from the party. And it's been like 3 weeks. So this kind of freaks Elijah Wood out, but he thought, it's just a joke, it's how they met and stuff. So then Elijah Wood kind of creepily puts his costume on and they go out and hang out. And Elijah Wood went to the party as Adolf Hitler. So, so it was kind of awkward. People were kind of giving them looks. And Elijah Wood was like, it's probably because I'm dressed next to a guy who's dressed as a dog. But he didn't really realise that he was Adolf Hitler. And then... And then, so after a while, this guy keeps hanging out with him dressed as this dog costume, and eventually, Elijah Wood in the season finale is like, "Hey, why are you dressed as a dog?" And then the guy goes, "I am a dog," and then he turns into a dog.
Wow,
and
that was amazing.
And he take drugs as well.
They do take drugs, yeah. That's the show I wish I watched. Holy crap! Oh wow, I didn't even know where to go from there. Thanks for watching. No. All right, let's just move on. That was fantastic. What's the next one in your list that's awesome?
All right. You please explain to me the movie Chasing Amy.
Right. Okay. It's about this guy.
Okay.
Who's a stalker.
Yeah.
And his name's
really,
Toby.
Okay.
Toby the stalker.
No. Okay.
So Toby wants to get a girl called Amy.
Okay.
And so he chases her. And that's the movie.
How? Okay, what happens in the movie while he's chasing her?
He catches her and rapes her.
Yeah.
I don't know why you watch that movie, Cam. It sounds like a snuff film.
It's not really that bad.
It's not really that bad, she's a bitch anyway.
No,
This is hard because I know nothing about the ones you've written down. I wrote down stuff I knew you at least had some knowledge about.
I'll tell you one thing and then you can update your story.
Okay.
There's not actually a character called Amy in the story.
Okay, right. There's this guy, and he's crazy. And he keeps seeing this girl who he thinks is called Amy, but her name's actually... Wow, I could not think of another girl's name. Clarice. Wow, that's the one I went to, really?
Okay, so if Clarice is the main female lead in the movie, then she's a lesbian. So is the main female lead in the actual...
Right, so he's chasing Clarice, but because she's a lesbian, he goes crazy and thinks she's Amy.
You almost got kind of the plot of the movie, and then you still think she's Amy.
Why is it called Chasing Amy if there's no Amy and there's no chasing?
It is about chasing. It's about this guy who falls in love with a lesbian. But But there
Wow.
was
I was right on the nail there.
there's a scene in it where he talks to this guy, and he's kind of like, there's always that guy in the movie who gives like a word of wisdom.
Yeah.
And in this movie it's Silent Bob, and Silent Bob tells a story about how he chased this girl called Amy.
Oh my god!
And he
That's
fell in
why
love
it's
with her.
called that!
And he fell in love with her. But then he realised that just Amy couldn't be with him, and he was just chasing Amy, aka chasing his tail. Yeah.
I have indeed seen what they did there.
Yes.
Okay, well, please next time pick one from the list that I actually know a little bit about.
I don't think there are any. Alright, there is one, but carry on.
Alright, okay. I know you've at least seen me play this game and heard me talk about it. So, what do you think Halo's about?
Okay. So, after the Apollo missions, we got a bit bored.
Right.
So we updated our spacesuits, so they look pretty cool. And one guy was like, hey, you know what? I'm bored of all this, so he spray painted his green.
Right, okay, what was that guy's name?
That guy's name was John, but he didn't
Wow.
like people calling him John.
Did you know that, or was that a guess?
I knew that.
Oh, damn. That would have been really impressive. Well, then again, going to a random name and going to John isn't really that. But yes, well done. His name is John.
So then he's like, don't call me John anymore, because that's a boring name, and you can't sell a game if the character's name is John, unless it's John Woo. And then he's like, call me Master Chief. And they're like, why? It's like, well...
I just want to point out, yes, you can. Modern Warfare series is the best-selling shooter series, and all two of the main characters are named John.
Okay, fair enough. But
I always find that weird. Sorry, just going off topic here. So you play as Soap and you play as Price, and Soap and Price are the two main characters in Modern Warfare, and they're both called John. Why did the developers think that's a good idea? I mean, yeah, okay, that probably could happen in real life, but why would they do that? It's just so uncreative. So we've got Soap. Or what's his first name? Fuck it, we'll just call him John. Alright, but now we need one for Price. John? Yeah, genius, man. This is why you're hired. Carry on. Anyway.
yeah, so they go up into space, and then the shuttle goes a bit too far, and then they fall into this place where these dinosaur-looking people, and they're all evil. And then they fight them for a bit. And then they fight them some more in the sequel, and then some more in the third game. And
wow, you really don't know much about Halo, do you?
And then and then there's these people who, before all this happened, who before Master Chief got lost in space and found the dinosaurs.
Master Chief in
space. There's another guy who, another group of guys who were in cool spacesuits, but not as cool as Master Chiefs, and they call themselves Reach because they have a spaceship and it's shaped like a giant hand. So then they drive into the Reapers and they die at the end.
Right, and Shepard lives on. Yeah,
yeah, and he was gonna die, but then they wanted to make a fourth one because they can make money off it.
That's actually true. At the end of Halo 3, Master Chief dies, but he doesn't actually die.
Oh, not a guess.
That was pretty spot on. Well done. All right. Last one, I think, isn't it? This isn't the fifth.
I think so.
So pick the best.
It's our show pictures.
What?
It's our show pictures.
Yeah.
I'm picking the best one. Okay. I'm
probably gonna cut out that pause. Go on, something that you think I know a little bit about, but not enough.
You know nothing about anyone. Okay. Okay, you don't know. You might know bits about this. Pulp Fiction.
Right. Okay.
Explain to me what happens in Pulp Fiction.
Now, my experience with Pulp Fiction, I've only seen 2 clips from the film that Oliver showed me, and what you've said. Right. Okay. So Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
And crap.
I know you know him, so I can just tell you, John Travolta.
Yeah, John Travolta. Yeah, I couldn't think of his name. So I forgot the first guy's name now.
Samuel Jackson.
Thank you. Samuel Jackson and John Travolta are some kind of well-dressed escort service, and they drive around West Philadelphia.
Okay.
And they go to a playground and cause some trouble for a local black kid.
Okay.
And then he gets sent away to live with his aunt and uncle, but they don't see him again, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And he writes a song about it, and it's an awesome song. But then they end up... so Samuel Jackson is an angry guy with who apparently doesn't know that shavers exist. So he can't do anything about it, and he's very angry because he wants the beard gone, but can't work out how to do it.
And people keep comparing him to a goat.
Yes, yeah, and he's sick of people thinking he's a goat when he's not. He's like, no, I'm fucking Nick Fury. Don't you know who I am? So then he goes. So he drives around, and John Travolta shoots a guy. And then
I just picture them driving around the same playground for a bit. And just John Travolta just hangs out the window, just shoots a guy.
That's exactly how I'm imagining it. And then Nick Fury is very concerned that he looks like a bitch, and he's very self-conscious about it. So every time he meets somebody, he has to ask them if he looks like a bitch or not. And if he does, he runs on trying to de-bitchify himself.
That's the wrong quote, though.
So Nick Fury then finds somebody who thinks he does look like a bitch, so he shoots him in the face. And then John Travolta's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he drives away and flies off in his car with a blonde chick. And then Nick Fury's so depressed that his mate's gone that he gouges out his right eye and then goes into a solid depression. But then is found by a government agency. And then he meets a Norse god and a guy in a suit and some person from the past and a green dude, and they form the Avengers. And yeah.
So
and then he takes off the snazzy suit. Pulp Fiction, everybody.
Well done, Jack. And can I just point out that the quote is, "Does he look like a bitch?" So Nick Fury's
sorry, right. He's self-conscious that John Travolta looks like a bitch, and he's very protective of John Travolta, so he beats up anybody who calls John Travolta a bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Thanks for
I thought you were saying that he talks about himself in the third person.
That too. He's a very messed up guy. That's why he gouges out his eye when John Travolta flies off in a magical car. He doesn't believe his eyes. He thinks his eyes are playing tricks on him, so he gets rid of them.
But only one of them.
Only one of them. Yeah, because they hurt so much he doesn't want to do it again. Right. And then Robin has had enough of Ted's bullshit, so she moves to New York, from New York. And she moves to a different part of New York, meets Nick Fury, and joins S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
And then the Human Torch loses all his powers, gets sent back in time, and becomes Captain America. After losing a skateboarding contest to Scott Pilgrim. And
Scott Pilgrim doesn't even take part in.
No. But that's how bad he was. So he then gains his superpowers, loses them, becomes Captain America. And then Loki is just Loki because he's never been anything before. And then John Travolta goes on to make a bunch of shit movies. I mean, he lands his car and does a bunch of shit things. And then he's in Hairspray, which was actually pretty good. And then he's in With Paris from Love, which is
it's
good.
Fun.
I probably said that name wrong. And then Sherlock Holmes travels into the future, and he's like, "Fuck, Watson's dead." So he makes a metal suit to avenge Watson's honor. Am I right on the mark there?
Pretty much. That's how I remember Pulp Fiction being. I remember being impressed that it was a 2-day long film.
Yeah. I think when I watch, I think the most impressive part is how vividly you can remember Iron Man.
And I remember being astounded by how many different companies let Quentin Tarantino use his... and everyone always says, "Oh, Joss Whedon's the first to direct more than one superhero," but
no.
Quentin Tarantino.
He directed all the superheroes.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to draw on actors who have been in it now. Okay, right. That's Pulp Fiction, and that's henceforth what Pulp Fiction will be known as. It's a real shame we didn't start with that one. Okay. Now, I know you know a little bit about it, and you might have even played one of the games, maybe, hopefully not. What do you think Max Payne is and is about?
Okay, so there's a guy called Max.
Correct. You're off to a good start.
Stupidly, his parents don't drop the name Payne, so they forever calls him Infinite Sorrow, because, like, if your second name's Payne, you're bound to get into a bunch of shit battles and gunfights and stuff, because that's just the way it goes.
Naturally, that's just how it works. If you have a cool-sounding name, you're going to be an action hero.
So anyway, so he, first of all, Max Payne's really cool, and they have Max Payne 1 and 2, and then he's like, alright, I'm a motherfucking, I don't know, he's a hitman, I'm just guessing he's a hitman, right? And he just goes around, and he figures out he's got a superpower that whenever he jumps in a shooting motion, time slows down.
Hang on, a shooting motion.
Yeah.
The fuck's a shooting motion?
You jump and shoot.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever he does that, his time slows down, but he can't really use it that much unless he's shooting someone. So it kind of sucks because he can't use it for good. So that's why he becomes a hitman and he starts jumping around shooting people because it's the only thing he can use his power for. So then after the first 2 games, he feels like he's in a very good position. He's like, you know what, I'm content. I don't want to use my power anymore. I want to see what I can do without my power. So he goes off for a bit and becomes the Punisher, which I don't know. Most people saw this, but I seem to be the only one who realizes it. The Punisher is Max Payne because they're the same person. They look exactly the same. I don't know if you've noticed that. So he goes off.
I will say the Punisher does look like an angry spud. So yeah.
So yeah, he goes off and he does the Punisher for a bit. He does that thing for a bit. Then the Punisher dies, comes back to life as Frankenstein. Then he gets resurrected because Marvel's weird. And he's like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna go to Wendy's. I don't know, some American diner. He gets really fat. And then they're like, oh, Max, you can make a bunch of money if you release a sequel to your game that people have been waiting for ages. So he tries to make a new game, but he's so fat that his powers don't work properly. And, yeah.
All right, and how does Max Payne 3 end?
He dies. Because he has a heart attack.
He has a Big Mac-induced heart attack.
Yeah.
He's
mid-jump. He's
mid-jump.
He's mid slow motion jump and he just drops to the floor.
And because time slowed down, no one can get to him in time to save him.
Yeah, he drops to the floor and everyone's like, no, but he's dying in normal speed because he lives at the same rate as the person playing him. And everyone who finishes Max Payne 3 dies of a heart attack.
Oh, so I'm a zombie then.
Yeah, I thought everyone knew that.
That's pretty standard. Okay. Well, let me just tell you how wrong you are. First of all, he's a cop, not a hitman.
Really?
Yeah. By the third one, he's not a cop anymore. He doesn't retire. He gets forced into retirement.
Okay.
He's not a zombie. All right. Yeah, he kind of was the Punisher. He also doesn't go away and become bald. He goes away and becomes John Travolta from With Paris We Love.
Okay.
That's what happens. And then he joins the Avengers.
Oh, dude, I forgot now. I remember that whole section of Pulp Fiction where it was all about Max Payne. I completely forgot that. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, it's such a vivid scene.
It's all a flashback. It's right after the badass motherfucker scene.
Yeah. It's right after the badass motherfucker scene and right before Thor bursts in.
Yeah.
And, Max Payne is there. and then, Master Chief crashes down.
Oh, shit. You know what we didn't realise?
What?
All of these movies that both of us know nothing about all tie into Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
No,
I was wondering why
I completely forgot about the bit where my WoW character showed up in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and that bit in the diner with the guy who plays the Abomination in the Hulk, and he looks over and he sees Mark Ruffalo, but he doesn't recognise him because obviously Mark Ruffalo doesn't play the Hulk in the movie with the Abomination, so he doesn't attack him. But then he looks over, and in the corner there's a guy dressed in a dog suit hanging out with Frodo from Lord of the Rings. And it just kind of confuses him for a second, but then he just passes it off as this is a really weird diner.
Yeah.
And then he realises the reason it's so weird is because it's on Mos Eisley.
Yeah, and then the Reapers attack. And they all have to team up to fight it, and they become the Avengers Extended. And I completely forgot about that scene in How I Met Your Mother, where Ted high-fives Shepard. God! So stupid.
That's the coolest, man.
Oh, damn it. And I guess, by virtue of it being the same city and the same actor, Dr. Horrible should be fighting the Avengers. That would be great. Dr. Horrible and the Avengers sing along. Oh, wow.
All right, then.
I'm Iron Man.
Well, yeah, so I hope you guys got schooled in the ways of movies, comics, books.
But
shit, I have read 11. Of course
you've read 11.
There's an entire 3-hour section of Pulp Fiction where Samuel Jackson just reads the book 11 out to you.
Oh, of course. Of course, so you've read it.
Yes, and it's all about...
What could it all be about? It's all about... It's all about... It's a story about how his life got turned upside down.
Yeah.
It all ties in.
Oh, man. And there's 11 other Avengers. And they help Will Smith fight aliens.
Yes. Yeah.
On Independence
They help Will Smith fight the Reapers.
Yeah. With
There we go.
MIB.
Now, before we go, I suppose we should mention that this episode of Jack and Cam is sponsored by Pulp Avengers Met Your Mass of Warcraft Pain Wilfred in cinemas next week.
Sponsored by McDonald's.
Sponsored by McDonald's.
And actually, the entire movie is the official sponsor of the Olympics, even though every other thing on the planet is. So, yeah.
So, in some scenes, you can just see track runners running in the background.
Yeah, we're the official sponsors of the 2013 Olympics.
Yes. So, now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, G.I. Joe's
Jack and Cam. Thanks for watching. If you've stuck around this long, you're a trooper, and I salute you. I'm Jack Morris.
I am Cameron Morris.
See you next time.